This is what we saw on Tuesday. Tomorrow's anti-racism protest was expected to dwarf it.
As of this morning, that had escalated to a potential 10,000 protesters turning up.
Its popularities proved the problem, so the premiers stepped in and police applied to the Supreme Court to have it banned.
This is because the protesters could not guarantee adherence to the health orders. They could not guarantee safe social distancing.
Protesters have vowed to turn up regardless.
We are going to march it, they like it or not, because this is our land.
We have a right to speak and a right to express ourselves.
Health orders allow up to 500 people to gather in a public place if they're socially distanced, and police plan to enforce it.
As the 501 turns up, we would be giving them a direction to leave the area, and if they failed to leave, then we could take action. We could arrest them.
But authorities say it's not the cause they're championing, it's the virus they're potentially carrying.
We only need a few people in that crowd that may come to actually have this virus, to cause all the good work that our community has done in the last 5 months to come unstuck.
The potential for a second wave and an outbreak of coronavirus is extremely high in New South Wales.
Similar protests are planned in Queensland, Victoria and South Australia tomorrow, but New South Wales is the only state that's taken legal action. Amy Greenbank, ABC News, Sydney.
Governments and their health advisors are trying to head off what threatens to be the largest series of public gatherings the nation has seen since COVID-19 lockdowns began. Scott Morrison is leading appeals to people not to assemble this weekend in protests against police brutality in the United States or Indigenous imprisonment in Australia. But as the Prime Minister made his pleas inside Parliament House, hundreds were already massing on the lawns outside the building. National Affairs correspondent Greg Jennett was there.
Black Lives Matter! Black Lives Matter! Black Lives Matter!
Committed to a cause and daring social distancing, a mask-clad people's movement massed on Capitol Hill.
Black Lives Matter!
Spurred by injustice in America,
we are not just going to take it back to George Floyd. We are taking it back to slavery.
And angered by Indigenous experience.
It's the governments. They're more worried about getting COVID-19.
Outsiders vented over injustice.
Am I threatening you?
No, you're not. In the very way that Parliament's insiders had just exhorted the nation not to.
Let's exercise our liberties responsibly this weekend. I encourage people not to attend, and I say to them, don't go.
Aware crowd estimates for protests this weekend pointed to gatherings in the tens of thousands. Scott Morrison sought the advice of his chief medical officer.
A mass gathering, even if people try to make it safe, is inherently dangerous.
Translated into ministerial speak,
any mass gathering at this time is a lottery with people's lives.
The settled view of the panel of medical chiefs is that no amount of distancing or hand washing can make a weekend of Indigenous safety rallies COVID safe. And invoking memories of the eerily sparse Anzac Day arrangements, the government's urging protesters to show solidarity in solitude.
Express that concern online, through donations.
Let's find a better way and another way to express these sentiments rather than putting your own health at risk.
The medical advice is now in direct conflict with the convictions of protesters who seem intent on hitting the streets anyway. If they do, they'll set up a test for authorities on who should prevail when a social justice cause collides with social restrictions. Greg Jennett, ABC News, Canberra.